folks, basically I had to put this wire here so these won't go flying, and it's easier to see how the gears work on a motorcycle transmission, how the shifting works. I took out the gears so we could see. Basically here I have it in first. It won't go any further because that's first gear. Notice second gear is the area in the drum where you have these two grooves here that go left. And this here is the section that I have, which is broken. And that's why I'm having a problem with the second gear. I'll zoom in so you can see. This camera sucks, by the way. I don't know if you can see it there, but basically this groove here, this little tip is supposed to look like this one, and it's actually really scratched. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very scratched right there. It's worn off there, and that's why this shift drum is having a difficult time engaging into second gear once this little tip hits this little knob right here. Okay, so basically we're in first here. That's neutral. So neutral, first. Notice how the shift drums shift. Neutral. They go left and right slowly. Second. You can see it's hitting that. Look at that. Look how much free play there is right there. It's not like this one. This one only has a little bit. This one has quite a lot. It's because of that worn out tip. Second. Okay, so second. Then third. Fourth. Fifth. This one moved. And sixth. And it won't go any further. So that's sixth. Then fifth. Fourth. Third. Second, neutral. Oh wait, maybe I skipped neutral. That's neutral, I think. Okay, that's first, neutral. Now I did put a mark here on the neutral. That's neutral, and I put a black mark there so I can know what neutral is. These this little lever here, when you shift, when the shifter clicks the drum, it basically each of these grooves on this little star is a gear. So that's neutral. Let me see. That's first right there. First, neutral. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then back down again. Neutral. Okay, there's the gears that are on now. If you want to try this at home, make sure that that down here, like I showed before, that you have the drum put on, that it's in neutral, and then you put this gear on first. The drums, the shift fork, you can see one tip right here. You see one tip right here and the other tip right here. The shift fork is now engaged to this little line, this line here. The second shift fork, there's one tip right there and there's the other tip right there, right down there. So, and it's engaged to this line. And this shift fork, you can see one tip right here and the other tip is down there, and that's the line that it engages onto. It's in neutral right now, so I'm going to put it in first. See what happens when we put it in first. Watch how the gears move. This one's moving here. And as always, I'm having a hard time putting it in. Sometimes you got to move it around a little, you see? It went on first. That's first. Neutral. First, neutral. Okay, let's try it again. You gotta have the gears moving while you do this. Just like when the motorcycles move. Okay, so I got it in neutral there. That's neutral, and then first. Notice how my finger is causing resistance on my finger already. Right here, I feel it getting harder and harder. Let's go back to neutral. Neutral. So back to first. One more time, just to check it out. First. Let's switch this gear right here. Neutral. Neutral. Now this is nice and free flowing. Second. Somewhere down here, let's try it again. Neutral. Watch how this one moves. Second. Third. Let's go back down to second. These two moved. Watch. Third. Fourth. Okay, and then fifth. And sixth gear. Okay, here's all the gears basically taken apart. Here's the inner shaft, and as you can see, some bearings, some C-clips, washers, some gears with cogs and dogs, a bunch of C-clips and washers, the outer shaft. That's a shaft right there. Basically what you gotta do is look at all the gears, make sure they're not worn out. I already see that the second gear here is worn out. Look at this. Look at this side of the gear. Okay, and now look at this side. See how worn out that is? This gear is really shot. Look at that. That's really worn out compared to this side. That's how it should look. More or less. But because the gear runs this way, then this side is really rounded out. This side is not as rounded out, but this side super rounded out. So this gear needs to be replaced. Absolutely. Okay, the shift drum, where it has a lot of wears on this edge right here, it's supposed to look more like this one. Look how it is. It's really worn. That's where the second gear engages. This is where the first gear engages. It's just a little bit worn out. And then down here, I think is one of the higher gears, third or fourth. It's a little bit worn out, but not too bad. But the area where the second gear engages, hence the reason why I have the second gear problem, is super worn out. So I'm gonna have to get a new drum. Okay, the shift forks. The one that looks the worst is this one here, which is where the second gear is. This one, the top one, is the best looking one. Looks okay. Doesn't have that much wear. Looks almost brand new. On the right, this one's a little bit more worn out. The tips, you can see the tips are worn out a little bit. Also has a little bit of wear right here. This is not too bad. But this one, which is next to second gear, it actually does have right on second gear. Check it out. The tips are really worn out. Look at this area. It's really rough right here when you touch it. And look at this. This is super rough. I mean, you could barely, look at that. Super rough. The tip is really worn out on this side. It's really worn out over here. I mean, there's like it looks like something just like stabbed this area right here, because it's rough right here and it's rough right here on top. See how it looks like if it got scratched and bent. The metal actually got moved around like plaster. It's also worn over here. It's really rough right here. Look how the metal got moved right there. It's like that on this gear. So it's consistent with this side being worse than this side, and on this gear the dogs on this side are worse than the dogs on this side. So I will be replacing these two forks, shifting forks, the shift drum, second gear. Okay, after looking over all of the gears, I noticed that they're all worn, and that's normal. There's a little bit of wear on all the gears, but the ones that you want to replace are the ones that are extremely worn. And just to give you an example, you'll see some wear like that and a little bit of rounding of the edges. That's normal, just a little bit. But if you see something like this, like I said, like we saw earlier, where the edges are extremely worn, then that's what you want to replace. And anything that corresponds to that gear, or that is part of it. So I looked at everything over and I determined that the pieces I need to replace are this gear, this one, which is also very rounded out. Not on this side, but on this side. See? So this gear, the shift drum, this section right here is very worn. And this shifting fork. I'm gonna order them on the Kawasaki OEM parts websites. Oh, another thing I wanted to add is that I cleaned these up really well with a little bit of gasoline, and just rinse them in there and clean them up with a rag, and that will allow you to better inspect all the gears without having too much oil and grease all over you.